Welcome to the Solstice Festival webinar. Today is the shortest day of the year, and that's the day which traditionally, for many centuries, for many millennia, people around the world would gather to celebrate the light, would gather to call the sun to come back. And in this symbolic calling to the deity, to the sun deity, humanity would express the invocative call for the return of the light. And for those of us who is in the southern hemisphere, today is the longest day of the year. And this is the day when people connect with the outpouring light of the sun and open their mind towards the move towards the winter, continuing the journey throughout the year. From lightness to dark, from death to immortality. Today we continue pondering on the topic of cycles, and today our guest Antonella Nobilio from Italy will continue sharing with us the wisdom related to the astrology of cycles, and will share with us what is the significance of the 2025 and beyond. And so I will unmute Antonella. Oh, Antonella, please unmute yourself. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you, Antonella.
Thanks to you, thanks to us to be one in this initial and initiatory day for the next year. So we can share the screen?
Yes, so I will transfer now the screen to you. Now you should be able to share your screen. So thank you, Antonella, for this continuing journey, and thank you for taking us for this rhythmic move. And it's really beautiful to connect together as a group with the energy of the rhythm of the planet. So please. Yeah. Lead us.
Yeah. Thank you, Alec. Yes, I'm thinking that we are going on our meeting, our webinar in the last solstice, last summer solstice. I just saw the symbol of an arrow, which is just the symbol of Sagittarius that we left just some hours ago. because during the solstices we have the sun and the earth which reverse themselves. So now the earth is entering the sign of Cancer, and while the sun is entering the sign of Capricorn. And 6 months ago, just on the other side of this arrow of the cycle of the planetary logos, it was just the contrary. The Earth was on the summit of Capricorn, while the sun, the apparent sun, was entering the valley, the door of incarnation of Cancer. So it's also a ritual act that we are going to share together, because just doing an act on the same direction, this is the notion of direction, which is infinite, an infinite arrow that align with the Earth, Sun, and the cosmos. So we just shared last time that analogically the Earth is personality, the Sun is the soul, and cosmos is the monadic and then logoic world. So we have just in these decades this convergence also with the galactic center, and we shared also this picture. Is it big enough for you? Maybe Alexander, you can confirm or not. It's big enough?
Well, when there will be smaller text, it might be a little difficult to see. Maybe you can do slideshow mode, then this slide would be like full screen.
Yes, I don't know how to go back, so then we try. No.
If you press there, like on the top of the top menu on your screen, there is slideshow. There will be drop down menu.
Vabbè, we can see also like that.
Yes, this picture we can.
This picture is okay. So.
Sorry, Antonella. Now it's back. Yes, now it's good.
Okay.
Let's stay with this image. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So during the solstices, we have the solar archer, if we like, which is just stretching this arrow between Earth and Sun, mirroring to the galactic center, and this happens each 13,000 years for the precession of the equinoxes. So we know that this century is such initiatory and is opening humanity, the teachings say, to the cosmic consciousness, which for humanity means to the planetary consciousness. That is the global effort to save this planet. So during the solstices we have this convergence, cosmic, solar, planetary, and with some hearts, human hearts also, till the last level of manifestation. So we have to keep this in mind, that the solstice is this unique moment that the planetary logos uses to impress his or her or its will into the cycle to all its creatures. This is the chart, the geocentric chart for today, just 9 hours ago. And so we have, as we said, the sun entering the gates the gate of gods between Sagittarius and Capricorn, and the inner wheel is just showing this the sun at the summit. The outer wheel is depicting the next December solstice. This is a way of interpolating, of putting two solstices in comparison, just to encompass all the possible progression of the forces of the planets in just 1 year. And so we can see how they move, how they change. And so to get the potentiality of the forces, this is just a good way to do, just to put in comparison the two moments of the beginning and of the end of the annual cycle. We have to remember also that a year is the major simple cycle of the planetary logos around the sun, while the day is the minor, the lesser breath of the planetary logos. So these two are its cycles or breaths, and to align with them is a way to keep the united breath and unified rhythm with our God, our planetary logos, aligned to the solar logos. So we go back to this chart after something that I would like to resume. The last hour webinar during the full moon of Sagittarius, we just shared this quote from esoteric astrology, which was saying that about Aquarius, the era of love, wisdom, of brotherhood, and of expressed brotherly relationships. The 2025 initiative was asking this question: what do you think is the next evolutionary goal for humanity? And if we follow this quote, opportunity, illumination, brotherhood, these are the gifts that Shambhala is planning to confer upon mankind during the Aquarian age. So for the first decade, which means 700 years, the word, the idea, the formula is opportunity, which is related to Saturn, the Lord of Karma, the Lord of opportunities. So we can say that the evolutionary goal for humanity from an Aquarian point of view is to take the opportunity. What opportunity? So here in the second part of the page, and following also the other questions that the initiative posed, what in the next few years of preparation, how can esoterically oriented individuals and groups contribute to the support of humanity's movement toward the fulfillment of this goal? So this is a possible answer. In order to help humanity to take this initiatory opportunity, the new group of world service should be an even more dynamic, harmonic, and scientifically organized unity, according to the fifth ray of Aquarius and the rising seventh ray, systemically its ruler Uranus. Uranus rules Aquarius for ordinary humanity. So if we think that every unity, and this is the major idea we would like to impress in this solstice day, every unity is based on love, wisdom, the second ray and aspect, the essential and basic motive of this second solar system, and of the soul of our planetary logos, which is a third-ray personality and a first-ray monad. These are information taken from esoteric astrology. The esoteric ruler of Aquarius is just Jupiter, the second-ray systemic master of love. So together, Jupiter and Uranus, the second and seventh ray, promote and precipitate the beneficent consummation of any purpose and goal. So to take the opportunity, we can refer to these two planets which rule Aquarius, Uranus, seventh ray, and Jupiter, second ray. We find also this quote from esoteric astrology, very interesting, that says, two of our planets, the Earth, non-sacred, and Uranus, sacred, are directly the product of this third ray activity. This coming process of planetary service through the third divine center, which is humanity, the throat center of the planetary locus, is only truly effective when Aquarius rules and when our sun is passing through that sign of the zodiac. So, hence the immense importance of the next 2,000 years. So it's just not too wide interval to speak of the next goals of humanity, because we know we are in an Aquarius, in an Aquarian matrix, so to speak. And so we have to consider its rulers and its energies, which are the fifth ray and seventh ray, as the main energy that can help the new group of world servers, which is just related to Aquarius, to help humanity to accomplish the goal of evolution and of brotherhood, illumination, and so on. So this is a line, the following line of force to study. Alcyone in the Pleiades, which is our third cosmic source beyond Great Bea first and Sirius second. So the Pleiades, the mothers of the seven aspects of form life and the wives of the seven rishis of the Great Bea. They are connected with the mother aspect, which nurtures the infant Christ, which is the group consciousness in humanity. Aquarius, the world server, the transmitter of energy which evokes magnetic response. 3. Jupiter and Uranus, planets of beneficent consummation. Beneficent Jupiter, consummation or accomplishment is Uranus. The second ray of love and the seventh ray, which fuses spirit and matter to the ultimate glory of the solar logos, are in the fullest eventual cooperation. And last, humanity, the focal point for all these energies and the divine distributor of them to individual men and later to the lower three kingdoms in nature. So the unity of Alcyone, Aquarius, Jupiter and Uranus humanity activate the golden service to the order of space or ceremonial magical love. Order, seventh ray, space, second ray. Ceremonial magic, seventh ray, love, second ray. So these are formula for their relationship, and if we think of the rulers of the sign as the vector that can activate in us, in our centers, the energy of a sign, of a constellation, we grasp the importance of the position of these two planets and their cycle also. We will see sometimes that their cycle just draws a six-pointed star with their conjunction each 14 years. And we will see also that the six-pointed star is drawn by Jupiter and Saturn in 60 years with their conjunctions and opposition. So this just to say that the solar luminaries, the sacred planets, draw with their motions some, we can call them psychogeometries, which means some drawings, some patterns which are living, which are psychically living. And with these patterns, they show how to follow the plan, the solar plan, and what is available each time to express the will of the heavens. So our group, which exists since the 80s, studied very deeply the heliocentric cycles and the heliocentric astrology, because in that astrology we can see the pure geometries or space metries, it would be more correct to call them, because geometries of the Earth, we can see the patterns of nature and of every sacred creature. So to study the heliocentric cycles can reveal how to follow the will of the heavens and how to apply on Earth. But we go afterwards. So Jupiter and Uranus. So we could strengthen our one service to the purpose, and when I say our, I speak of the human group, of the new group World Service. So we could strengthen our one service to the purpose through the loving and wise activation of the hierarchical principle into our reciprocal soul relationships and creative activities, asserting the fact of the harmonic system of hearts that is us, the human group of World Service. And the hierarchical principle is essentially the 137 powers of life impressed into the 12 love petals of space, which are the heart, zodiac, and also is the number of the accomplishment of a cycle, 12, 24, and so on, in order to produce the golden and harmonic evolution of consciousness, with the theosophical terms is of buddhi, through manas, of intuition, of love wisdom through the mind, through the fiery higher mental level. So what we can saw in this solstitial day is this idea that we have to imitate, to assume the hierarchical principle, which sees, for example, Shambhala and hierarchy organized in 137 potencies, which is Sanakumara, the three Buddhas of activities, the 7 ashrams made by the 105 Kumaras, and we have the 3 departments ruled by the Manu, the Bodhisattva, and march on, and then we have the 7 ashrams of hierarchy. And all these powers of life, all these fiery entities work and accomplish their goals in these cycles, or in this space, which is love, which is the heart of the planetary logos also, which is hierarchy. And so this is important, the 7 in the 12, the 7 life, the 12 space, their relationships produce consciousness, produce evolution. And if this is the model or the pattern or the two origins, spirit and substance, we can learn from how to organize also the new group of world servers, understanding how it works, the 7 which becomes 49 ashrams and so on, just to imitate the model. So life rules space through 7 centers, which this is a law that rules each conscious being, starting from a man and arriving to universe, passing through the great cosmic man, the unknown, or a solar system, or a planetary logos, or an ashram, or an egoic group. This is a universal law. So the idea is to imitate the hierarchical model in every aspect and activity of our group, working, thinking, planning, and being. We can take the opportunity to be a harmonic unity, a hierarchical humanity, through a common vision and embodiment of the planetary plan. There is an indication in race and initiation saying more or less, following the plan, the purpose will be revealed. So just focus to this, following the plan. In the space of our solar system, the 137 canon of life is worked out in the 12 wheel of the zodiac by 1 sun Vulcan, first ray, 3, the 3 schemas of synthesis of Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn, 7, the 7 sacred luminaries, plus their related non-sacred planets. And so we have put the 7 sacred luminaries in a 6-pointed star just to apply the septenary to a pattern that, as I said, is drawn by the planets and is present in each living being. So 7 centers and 6-pointed star. We know that the 6 is the number of perfection in form, while the 7 is the number of relative perfection, is the number of this hierarchical model that tries to rule the form world, the material world, if we like, but the 3 worlds. So also the 105 Kumaras of Shambhala are organized in 7 parts, in 7 centers of 15 Kumaras, when they have to impress, to work both above with the 7 other schemes of the solar system, but also towards below, when they have to connect with the 7 centers of hierarchy, of humanity, and of the planet. So the 7 is just the number of life ruling space. And so the 7, which is also a ray that the current energy of the solstice, which is ruled by Capricorn Cancer, this is the cardinal axis which transmits the 137 rays, just as the perpendicular one, Aries and Libra, just the same, transmit exclusively these 3 rays which are on the odd line of power. So to apply the septenary pattern, the septenary model, could be a way to organize our efforts on the planet to potentiate, to empower our unity, our harmonic unity. And how? This is the question. And in Italy, it's 30 years that we have been experimenting this pattern, this working as a star system, we call it, as a group, a star group, and where each of us chooses a function similarly to the function of Mercury, which is the eye of the solar logos and is the fourth ray, and rules the Antakarana, and all the analogies are possible. But we studied a series of analogies, mutuating also from the Pythagorean science of harmonics, to understand what is the interval that is similar to each ray, just to help the intelligence to know how to express the force and the energy of the rays, and just to be a harmonic unit, a harmonic system, a symphony, just as the 7 notes do in each music, in each melody. So let's go on, and then we go deeper in this group work following the septenary model. So this is...
Antonella, I just wanted to say that we approaching the time would be good to open for the questions, so maybe you can have another 5 minutes. And
okay.
Even though the information that you're given is very very focused, and it's I'm sorry to interrupt that way, but
oh, it's okay. As we said, if we do a meeting and some other solstice or equinox, we will have the time to develop the different parts of this hypothesis of working as a 7 centers, living 7 centers. So thank you, Alexander. And so I'm sorry not to have the time to... Allora, just go back to the heaven just a bit. And okay. So this is the chart of the 2025, which is our goal. And we will have we have in the inner wheel the situation of the 2025. In the outer wheel is the current solstice. So we have here Saturn in Sagittarius, the planner, the designer, just pointing to the goals, to the infinite research, if we like. And in 2025, Saturn will do this quarter cycle and just arrive at 0 Aries, which is the starting point of all cycles, is the electric fire door. And also Neptune, which now is in Pisces, here, just here, in 12 degrees, will arrive at the 0 point of Aries together with Saturn. So the 3rd ray and 6th ray will be powerful in the one of the most powerful points of the zodiac. Just giving birth, we can think, to a new plan, to the planetary plan for all the human community. Community is Neptune, 6th ray, the communion, a new communion also, systemic communion, and so on. And what I wanted to focus is that Uranus, that we know is the rule of, we said it's the rule of Aquarius, will be conjunct to the star Alcyone Pleiades. And we have seen before how the Pleiades, Aquarius, Uranus, and Jupiter and humanity are so important for taking the opportunity, which is the next decade goal. So I think I'm I'm sure that Hierarchy and Shambhala must know this alignment, because Uranus, which is the luminary of Hierarchy, Elena Röhrig says, the seventh ray, which takes 84 years to go around the Sun. So we will have Uranus conjunct the center of the 7 solar systems just in the solstice of 2025. So each 84 years we have this alignment, which is so important and initiatory for all the planetary consciousness. And we will have Jupiter close to Sirius, so the solar heart close to the cosmic heart, just as we had in last 2013. So we have these signs of the heavens, which are at least initiatory of a new phase. And before this 2025, we will have a most important conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius in 2020, which is the first after the beginning of the 15th century. So this conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter in 2020 will align with the Aquarian age and is recognized as a sign of a new impulse for this coming opportunity of Aquarius, which this is the star drawn by the conjunctions, the red points of Saturn and Jupiter, and the green points are the opposition. I want to show you this. Let's see if it's possible. So Jupiter second ray and Saturn third ray are the builders of the plan. Can you see properly?
Yes, we see it. Yes, we see it with a little delay, but we do see it, yes.
So let's find where they draw this 5 and 6 point star. Let's see. Okay. So Jupiter and one of his year in 12 years, while Saturn draws the 5 point star sides. This is a video which is also in the TPS YouTube channel, and these are videos developed from the studies of Enzio Savoini, which is our disciple, great disciple we had in Italy, that tried to unify the science of harmonics by Pythagoras and the 7 rays by decay, and also with the Agni Yoga. So this conjunction of 2020 is just the last of a 6 point star begun in 1960 and will end in 2020 with, after 180 years in conjunction in Earth signs, we will have for the first time a conjunction in an Aries sign, which is Aquarius. So this is a sign of, as I said, of the new great possibility, which will follow the conjunction, the terrible conjunction at the end of 2019, at the beginning of 2020 actually, between Pluto and Saturn. Pluto and Saturn, and then maybe I stop for the questions. Pluto and Saturn, the first ray and third ray, the last time they were conjunct was at the time of the War of Independence in USA, and after some years with the French Revolution. So when they were conjunct in Capricorn was just that period, and will be again at the January of 2020. So any astrologer will recognize that it will be overwhelming, because it will destroy all the 137 structures and forms which are related to government, economy, and organization. We have been already testifying these processes since Pluto entered Capricorn in 2008. But at that time of 2020 at the beginning, it will be like the summit of this process. So Pluto is the great destroyer, but also makes space to Venus to build new relationships on what he destroyed. So we have from now to that moment these years of great great disruption. But then in 2020, this conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn will open a new phase for humanity, in more a phase lighter, because we will have 180 years of conjunction of the two builders of the solar plan in the Aries signs, Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. So I can stop, and then if there are not questions, I can go on.
Thank you, Antonella. We invite now our participants to share your thoughts, comments, and maybe questions. You can use the function raise your hand on the control panel, and we will unmute you for you to speak. Also, you can use the function of the question bar in the control panel. You can write there, and I would read those. And now I will unmute Christine. Christine, please unmute yourself also.
Got it. Hello?
Yes, hello, Christine. Welcome.
I'm sitting here at the edge of my seat because she is saying 4 more years. I'm in the United States, and I can see nothing but turmoil then for the next 4 years. I don't even know if we're going to have an inauguration. We've had such turmoil, and the esoteric word is that on the solstice we are going through this deep, deep portal. This is the 3rd wave this year, and I guess I want some information as how we're going to get out of it. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you think I may answer?
Please. Okay.
Answer is a big word, but my initial suggestion, which is not mine, but is the hypothesis that we have been developing as a 3rd-ray emanation in Italy of this seed of esoteric school, is that we need to unite as in the new group of observers, just to keep to be this harmonic magnet that can help the forces of light, of love and power descend the more harmonically as possible. So the fact that what we are proposing is that each of us has to work according to his or her talents and to the function that his or her group has already. But we are requested to be a coordinated cooperation towards the goal, which is the formula of hierarchy. We need to put the prototype of a hierarchical humanity, because if not, we can't go out from this period, which is so hard, so dangerous for our future and for our children mainly. So our vision is that we have to follow a hypothesis of the planetary plan, just trying to embody and live and impress through meditation teachings, and try to, we need to embody the cause. We don't have to wait for, we have to apply, and this is a third way, the third aspect, to apply what the love and the will of us already incarnate. So the formulas are the directions of the third ray function. So the March on ashram is particularly maybe our place and mission and service, but we are encompassing also the second ray and the second aspect, the second department and the first department. So it's like all around the planet we have talents, and we have to unite these talents to say, okay, you are a heart on this process, so thank you to do your work also for me. And if you are the leader and if you are the hand, thank you, but I recognize your unique role, and we have to unite all these organs to build consciously a bigger, a higher organism, which is a hierarchical humanity, but is also a hierarchical group of world servers. And so Italy, with its function, has this third ray, as in letters of occult meditation is indicated. Italy and France hosted the mysteries of the third ray. So maybe we are just keeping on this function. And we are looking for the represents functionaries from the other 6 seeds of these esoteric schools, just to unify the forces and be an army of light, of love and power, of freedom, essentially. Here, for example, is the same harmonic experiment to formulate the 7 formulas for each sector of activity for the new culture and civilization, for government, education, economy, art, science, communication, and organization. We put communication or religion as just religion means in Latin to unite, to communicate and rely together. So, are there other questions?
I've unmuted Thomas. If you would like, please.
Yes, please. I was just wondering if you wouldn't mind just shortly to come back to the previous question, which is coming from the United States, from the current situation, what to do. And I was just wondering, maybe from the experience of a Central European country that went through some good changes in the 90s. That were actually preceded by some developments that might be similar. And so just wondering about the fourth ray, which is quite important for us as humanity. Sometimes there might be situations where the tension might increase between what one would be happy to see and what is happening. But still, I think this tension could swing into something very positive eventually. So it was just a small commentary towards the situation which is United States. And thank you. Just well, a positive experience sometimes might happen as it was in Central and Eastern Europe.
So if I have well understood, you would like to know my impression as a European about this situation, or?
Sorry, I didn't formulate it much. It's true that it was more just a small commentary, but nevertheless, I think I didn't want to interrupt much. What the interesting things you were saying. It was just a small comments, maybe some encouragement to our friends in the United States that maybe it could be, even though it doesn't look so nice now, it might be a good tension which eventually could spring into something new and better.
I think Thomas refers to his experience because he's from Czech Republic, and the experience that the Central European countries underwent in the 90s, the situation of the crisis, and that crisis eventually can lead to good things. Even while you're in the midst of that crisis, it's difficult to see. Mm-hmm. And I'm here now in the United States too, and people are really stressed about this whole situation. But I definitely agree with Tomasz, and there is opportunity in that, because probably that's that beneficial opportunity for all of us as an awakening call. And it's good that it comes now, that for within the next 4 years we have time to really regroup and start acting, and that by 2020 we will be all prepared, and even more prepared by 2025. So it's a good that it happened now. It's a good assistance for us. That's my view for that.
Fully agree, yes.
Yeah, and the fact that the next 15th of December, Saturn will be at the 0 degree of Capricorn, which is its sign, will be the beginning of this gradual aligning between the third ray and the first ray in Capricorn, which transmits the first, third, and seventh ray. This is, as we said, the harvest, or the hardest harvest, if we like, of some karma, because Pluto is first ray, is the destroyer. So we have to destroy what is not good enough, good anymore. What is obsolete. We have to destroy the structures and the politic assessment that are not functioning for their real principle and function. We have to destroy the false economies. We have to destroy the false organization before the new beginning. And the new beginning is, if we see right, of course, is that conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius. And we have been studying these cycles very deeply. And for example, this chart is showing that each, as I said, each 180 years, they are conjunct in 3 signs of the same element, And we had the two world wars with their conjunctions, Saturn and Jupiter, in Earth size, which is Capricorn, which is the sign of maximum concretion. I don't know if we say in English like that, crystallization maybe. Yes. The huge crystallization, but it's also the sign of initiation. So opportunity, Saturn, is just saying that starting from the end of this year, entering Capricorn, it will go closer and closer to Pluto, and and also Jupiter is here in Libra now and is focusing on the three elements of Libra, which are law, sex, and money, which are the three aspects of the third ray transmitted by Libra. So this year, till September, we will have this third ray dominant in the affairs of humanity and of our evolution of consciousness. Then for another year, Scorpio, then Sagittarius, and in 2019, Jupiter will enter in Capricorn too. So we will have Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, the first, second, and third ray in Capricorn. This is huge also for this alignment with the galactic center. And so the opportunity is coming, and we have to be encouraged, because we know that after a crisis means in Greek choice. Krinein means to choose. So the crisis takes the opportunity to do the right choices, the new choices for a better world. And we know that humanity needs to suffer often to see the next goal, the next evolutionary goal. We know that from the teachings that Earth, Mars, and Saturn are the three schemes of the third ray, and only in these schemes there are pain, there are sorrow, and so on. In the other schemes, the other humanities don't need to suffer to evolve, but we need for an ancient karma, for a function, for all the solar system. So if we detach from our local and planetary situation, we can think that a glorious new beginning is preparing, and we have to work for the future. That's why we have to put the seed of a new hierarchical humanity ruled by the seven rays, ruled by the three departments, ruled by the oneness.
Thank you, Antonella. There are several questions were regarding the website, and I put it in the chat now, the link to your website. Please, Antonella, check if it's the right one. And also, now our time is running out, and we still would have to go into meditation. But I would like to just unmute Sheldon to share his view. Hello, Sheldon.
Oh, hello. Thank you, Alexander. Just one brief comment on what Christine raised and Thomas spoke to about what's going on in the world, but in America especially. And I just want to say, I think a dimension of this, and this is what, Antonella, you've been emphasizing, is the unity among us as world servers. And, you know, you look down the list of who's here and all the people who are doing such extraordinary work. And what occurs to me, I'm thinking of Aggie and her work over the years with SF, or Alex, and works with the Post, Huffington Post, and even with Pathways to Peace, and Philip, you know, Nancy and Martin, we know, with the letters, and all these things, Rose and Simon. There's so many things going on today that when you just touch into these, what I think happens to us is we feel that kind of group unity. We may not be working together on one specific project, as Antonella was saying. We may not, we may carve our work out a bit along those 49 boxes. But there is a unifying process going on among people who are concerned about these great issues in the world, and I think that's useful for two reasons. One is it keeps us oriented, as Antonella is telling us, toward what can be happening, and as DK has told us so often, the hierarchy uses groups, and I think we are becoming, to a large extent through the internet, a group of groups. So I just wanted to put that out there and let that be part of our consideration.
Yeah, exactly. Group of groups or system of systems or order is just the same concept. We need to unite on a scientific and hierarchical basis. We have the seminars, we have the teachings. We just know how to do, and the science of harmonics is just going into details and explaining each ray also on an intellectual, acceptable way. So, for example, the second ray, which is love and so on, is the interval of octave, which is a note, and the same note at the higher octave, which is the maximum field. And so, or the first ray is the unison, and so on. So, what we can take is this science of harmonics applied to the group working, to the group of groups working, where each group, each individual with group consciousness can choose its task, its place, its the right place, and be one of the 49 living centers of this new unity. And so this is so simple, but also so esoteric that can be not seen, maybe. But we know that hierarchy structure is an order of spirits, and on a soul basis, we have to know what is our precise function. So only also on a national basis, we Italian carve the paths. The case says other nations do other formula. So when we see these paths as directions, when we have studied the directions of the solar plan, we have studied the directions of the work on a 49 system. We have studied the directions of the planetary forces and the planetary luminaries, and just read the heavens for the future. So we know why, we know how, we know what. We just have to do it together, and each one from his or her or its own function. So it's maybe not easy to ask ourselves, what is my function in comparison, in respect to the other, my beloved co-workers. And it's just not a question of my group or your group, or my soul and your soul. This is just the monad. We need to be a monad, a human, unique monad, to be strong enough to not to stop, but to transform, is the exact, transform this conflict and arrive to harmony. We are the fourth center, and the fourth ray and the fourth hierarchy is going to raise on 2025. So it's the moment. It's just, and in the future meetings, we can also plan more precisely this common action for hierarchy, sterilization.
Thank you, Antonella.
Thanks to us.
Thanks to you. Yes, thanks for all of us. And there is big responsibility on all of us in terms of synchronization of our alignment of our efforts. Not so much synchronization, but alignment, because truly everyone does own part of work, and they're part of a bigger system. And thank you for sharing with us this systemic view of the work that's happening on the planet. And we definitely will continue this sharing. And we already talked with Antonella, that's next solstice. We will continue this cycle of solstices working together.
I would only say one thing more, that is, if someone is interested to, because we didn't have time, to the signs of the heavens for this coming year, the last post published on the website of the planetary system is just about that, and it's just an overview of the signs of the heavens of 2017, and mainly for the next quarter. So please, if someone is interested, can read that. And okay, for the plan and the goals next times. Yeah.
I suggest we go now into meditation. Our usual time for the webinar is hour and a half, in 30 minutes, and it's approaching to the end. And after the meditation, if anyone would have any thoughts to share, so we can extend a webinar for a little bit, and those who have to go back to their responsibility could leave us, and we can stay a little longer after the meditation if we would want to do that. So Antonella, maybe you could have a short meditation, lead us in a short meditation, aligning with the beautiful rhythm of our planet in solstice.
Yeah. Yeah. So we focus in our heart, and we focus on our spine, our polar axis, pointing to the Polaris. And through the spine, we are one only direction, the direction of the will of the planetary logos. From our heart, from the heart of Earth, from the heart of the Sun, from the heart of the solar system, from the cosmic heart, from the galactic heart, from the heart of the universe, of the infinity. We love everything, every being. We are one. We rest in this oneness and empower our hands, our eye, our minds to find the right ways to unify heaven to earth and earth to heaven. We are the fourth human hierarchy. We are the crown of the solar system. the crown of creation, of the planetary logos. So we have a wonderful future. The future is here and now, is our presence, is our central human presence. Here and now, we irradiate the power of the sun rays to take us from chaos to order, from darkness to light, from the unreal to the real, from death to immortality. Our destiny is freedom. Thus, we liberate in order and we order in freedom. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Gratitude to everyone, to all of us.
Thank you, Antonella. And we are really grateful to your group for all the years of work that went into precipitation of this vision.
Yeah, our common work. Maybe we are only the throat center of a higher project, wider project.
Yes. Thank you everyone for being here together. If you need to leave now, please come back. for our next webinars. Our next webinar would be on January 1st. It's will be New Moon webinar, continuing the project working with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We will focus on the goal 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And on January 9th, we will have the Capricorn Full Moon webinar, which will be focused by the Hekal group from Jerusalem. Thank you.
I just want to thank our systemic workers in Sweden and Denmark, which are, and also in Italy, of course, which are attending this webinar. So, hi to everyone. So.
Yeah, and now if I suggest we have now some extra time for those who can stay a little bit longer. And if you have any more, if there are any more questions or comments from the audience, please raise your hands, and I will unmute you. And I apologize, Antonella, I didn't ask you if you have a chance to stay a little bit longer because we didn't talk about it in advance.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so then I will unmute Jeanette. Jeanette, you can please unmute yourself also. Jeanette Robertson, your hand was raised, so I unmuted you, but you are muted on your side, so if you wish to say something, unmute yourself. Also, I see Sheldon, your hand is raised. I'm not sure if it's since it's still raised, or if you want to share something, you just unmute yourself. You are muted on your end. And meanwhile, I will unmute Tomasz again.
Oh, sorry. Thank you very much. I didn't want to take much of the time. I just wanted to thank again. It was so nice, Antonella. And I just realized, I think, again, how nice gift comes from Italy. Because I think probably it started sometimes in Renaissance, where actually Rinascimento, where actually the rebirth of humanity happened in Italy. So again, thank you very much, and it's so nice to see what is happening in our country and all this, which is so nice in Europe and everywhere. So thank you.
Oh, thanks to you. Well, I have always this image, this picture of the 7 schemes of the solar system by decay in a treatise of cosmic fire, which has Saturn in the center of the 7, and I always ask myself why Saturn is there. Then this third ray is there just because it's the third ray of the main 3, and is giving birth to the septenary. But we think of this third ray of this esoteric school, which is indicated for Italy and France. Maybe our function is just to sow this vision of the structure, of the hierarchical structure, which is exactly what Saturn, the light, has to do, has to build, to reveal what the sound creates. So maybe our function has anchored in Italy because there were these mysteries of the third ray, as the case says, and now is the moment that maybe we have just to distribute this formulation, first formulation of the plan, which started from 1987, the first cycle. What I didn't say is just this, is that the cycle of 49 years is related to this 49 goals plan, and we live each year a different goal just to embody them or it more deeply, and just to sow it throughout all the human mentality. So And we are just entering, following this succession, in the third year or the fifth septennium of this first cycle of 49 years. And what I said the last times is that there is a cycle of 49 years ruled by the 6 initiations master of the decision. And so the 49, which is again a Uranus in action, is 7 times 7. And Uranus stays 7 years in each sign. 7 times 12, again 7, 12, makes the 84 years of his year, of his revolution around the sun. So Uranus is really the luminary of hierarchy and teaches how to build a hierarchical humanity. And yeah, and so the third, we can see here, the third year of the fifth septennium, which is 2017, starting from the 1-1, restoration of the ministers going in this sense and so on. It's just about the sowing of the principles of the new culture and all, and we are dedicating our efforts to this. And we have planned a ritual made by 3 levels, alignments with the main stars, Miracle, the Great Bear for the first ray, Sirius for the second, Alcyone for the third, and so on. And in those directions or days, again, the breaths of the planetary logos, we saw a special, particular formula, which is a formula of the disorientation to the 2025. So this work of sowing in a unified field of intervals, of functions, of vortexes, is just like the idea of building this focus, this laser oriented to the goal, which is helping hierarchy to save the planet. And for example, I give an example, these 7 formulas is just the assertion to be at the center of humanity, to be in the heart, which is a sort of monadic presence, a central human presence. And if we saw this formula when the Earth and the Sun are in the same meridian, ecliptic meridian, which is the conjunction, with this star, which the case says is the source of the first ray that comes from Great Bear, passes through Aries, arrives to Vulcan, arrives to Shambhala, arrives to the head center of each initiate and disciple. So the fact to build this ritual according to the alignments with both the stars and the conjunction between our Earth and the other luminaries is just to know when sowing the right quote, the right measure of psychic energy to serve that energy which is coming from the heaven, just to align with the already pulsating and causal energies and direct them harmonically to the mentality or to the body of humanity. So we built also this ceremonial, this magic, not this ceremonial ritual, sorry, to just to follow the plan. Again, we have been trying to find different ways to follow the plan, the signs of the heavens, to accomplish the purpose, which is freedom of the prisoners of the planet, which is many other ways to express it. Yeah. Thank you, Thomas, for your interesting and deep comments.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions from the audience? This is your chance to contribute.
So far, in waiting for other comments, I forgot to say that. So we have planned this 49 solving of 49 formulas again. The formula is a combination of energies, of ideas to focus meditation, to manifest a certain energy or a certain idea. So we have synthesized 49 formulas to orient us, the human group, toward the 2025. And the main formula, the 00 we can call it, is the planetary order asserts the plan of light and love on Earth. So it's just the fourth stanza, is just, but it's not work out. The verb of great invocation, let the plan work out, is just or the assertion. So it's the ignition of the first ray that can help this co-working with hierarchy for this crucial date of the 2025. So anyone which will like to share and to participate to this laser action, just please contact the TPS editor button, the contact button, so we can go on with.
And I will just remind you that the link to the website is in a chat window, so you can reach it there. And there is one more raised question, raised hand, so I will unmute John.
There is a question.
This is John Horan, and I wanted to thank you, Alexander. Thank you, Antonia. I really enjoy this perspective. Before, we had been speaking a bit about some of the developments in the nation states, particularly Italy was mentioned, as well as the United States. I live here in Washington, D.C., so I'm familiar with the reaction to the latest political go-round. In looking at the destiny of nations from DK, Italy has a fourth-ray personality and a sixth-ray soul, and we can certainly see that playing out in her events today. The national motto, I carve the paths. The United States has a national motto of I light the way. And there are many who are concerned about our new change of leadership in this country. And I would ask you to consider what DK has said in the past about other great leaders in antiquity and their role in the greater sweep of civilization. The first one in history is Alexander, whom he described as the closest to a first-ray personality that has ever been. And the tremendous impact the force of this personality had upon the ancient world at the time, unifying East and West. However, the force applied seemed to be a little extreme, so I'm paraphrasing here, but it was deemed to be an experiment that would not be repeated. Another great personality mentioned by DK is Napoleon. And Napoleon's function was largely to sweep away the old crystallized structures of medieval Europe. And in that he seems to have done the will and achieving the purpose that had in mind for him. And so with this lens and this focus, perhaps we can take a look at the events of our time. We are in the stream right now and don't have the long view of history on our side in order to give us greater vision at this time. But it may be possible that the recent turn of events in the United States and the change of the administration will be part of a greater plan to sweep away the crystallized structures that we now have in place. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And Pluto is not fine in its ways of distraction. So the cycle of Pluto is 240 or more or less years. So now it's again in Capricorn, and at the time of the French Revolution, it was in Aquarius, the sign of brotherhood, and we know that revolution was full of blood, and even if the ideas were so new, so Aquarian, but the revolution wasn't a solution. But we know also that democracy is the least worst. We know that hierarchy and a hierarchy of talents of service should rule the world in the name of all of us. But the point of evolution of humanity is just this, and we need to pass through all these crises to learn what we deserve. And so we are sure of one thing, that since the beginning we won, and we is the forces of evolution. So we hope that the astral body of humanity won't have to suffer much, but we know also that the technique, if we want to call it such, of pain, is a law of Earth, or the scheme of Earth. So apart from our emotional sharing and our best capacity of compassion, we have to realize that sometimes we need to suffer to understand and to leave the wrong way of functioning, of relating each other. So what we can do as servers of the world is just to impress the positive, or the not positive, how to say, the creative principles, and not the lack of the principle. So just saying that, for example, peace or harmony is not the contrary of war, but the war or the ignorance or the darkness is just the lack of light, the lack of love, the lack of the vision. So we have to sow the vision, we have to sow unity, and we have to sow the solution. And before, we know that, as the case says, the unity is on the mental plane. Separativeness is on the astral and on the etheric and physical world. So we have to focus on the mental unity before, and just build there our unity, and not think that it's just theory. It's just action, is acting with psychic energies, acting with the higher manas, where our causal bodies live and are substantiated by. So this plan is just 49 centers of a living plan, of a living thought form that we can sow on the general mentality of humanity, and just wait for, not wait for, and just work for its precipitation. Yeah.
Thank you, Antonella. And I think you answered. There was a question from Daniela exactly about that, how we share our vision, not steering emotions. That was perfect answer.
Yeah, I saw it.
Thank you. And thank to everyone. And I think it's a good beginning for the new year for all of us to align with this vision.
Yeah. So let's keep one in this unity. I would suggest to put a seed each day, because, as I said, the day is the little breath of the planetary logos. And as we are doing our usual meditation, just put this seed of this planetary order that we have to realize on mental level, and then also on the lower planes. So this seed of the planetary plan, planetary order through a working out of the planetary plan.
There are no more questions, so I suggest we end our work today with this.
Yes. Thanks to everyone. And see you next time. Hear you next time.
Yes, let's stay connected, and let's sound the Gayatri before we end the meditation. O thou who gives the sustenance to the universe, from whom all things proceed, to whom all things return, unveil to us the face of the true spiritual sun, hidden by the disk of golden light, that we may know the truth and do our whole duty as we journey to thy sacred feet.